Hi everyone, it's Joanne here from Apple Tree Studio, and I've just finished filming this delightful tutorial for my patrons. As you can see, it's a lot of hollyhocks and a lovely white duck. So we started the month by painting just the hollyhocks on their own, and we practiced our negative painting, wet into wet, all those important techniques that you need to know whatever subject you're painting. So what I thought is the second tutorial will add a lovely white duck to the composition, and as you can see is anything but white. So what I thought was, this tutorial really does deserve a warm-up, so I'm going to share that with you guys as well. And it's just the head of a duck, but I just want to show you how you can paint a lovely white duck without it actually being white. You'll see what I mean when I do the tutorial. So if you're enjoying my free tutorials, then please do subscribe. That really will mean a lot to me. If you want to take your art further, of course, you can check out my Patreon channel, and you'll find all the information, single purchase tutorials, my Patreon channel. Everything you need to know is on my website at artbyboon.co.uk. So you ready? Go grab those brushes and let's paint a lovely little duck together. So here are the materials I'm going to be using for this tutorial. I've got a big jug of clean water. I've always got my spray bottle. I've always got my kitchen roll or an old cloth. Excuse the state of my palette, it's a bit dirty, but we'll get back to that in a minute. Just a size 8 brush. I'm using an Oprera Pink, Ultramarine Blue and an Indian Yellow, and they're the colours that I've used previously for the Patreon tutorial. And I've just got a piece of Saunders Waterford here, and I've just cut it to quite a small size, and I've drawn the shape of the duck in. And no details really, just obviously putting in where I want the eye, drawing in the shape of the beak, and then everything else is just going to be nice and soft. So yes, I have got a messy palette, haven't I? And the reason is I've just finished filming, we'll pull this one across, this one, which is a Patreon tutorial. And first we painted some hollyhocks, and we had a feel of how we could paint them in a nice loose way. And then we've gone even looser on this one and included this lovely duck. And I know I say it all the time, but it's all about negative painting. So I thought what I'd do is I'd give you a little warm up. So here's another one. This is just the same duck, just very roughly drawn out. And I've just used 2 colours here, which is the Indian, no it's not, it's the quinacridone gold and an ultramarine blue there. And just to show you how effective that is, isn't it? It just really pushes that duck forward. And the lightest of kind of washes on the duck, it's all about those background washes and what they're doing for you. Whoops, the daisy. Let's move that out of the way. Oh, that was a little warm up that I did for myself in preparation for this one. I'm going to move all that away. Move it all away. And let's do a little warm up. So let's concentrate on just the duck. And again, I'm using the same colours as I used for the Patreon tutorial. And let's just move those out of the way. It would help, wouldn't it, if I put some blue onto my palette. There we go. So let's put some nice gentle washes onto our duck. And I'm going to take some yellow first. Just a very light wash of the yellow. Let's tap some of that in. Oh, it's just so satisfying. A little bit more there, I think. There we go. And because I'm using pinks, I didn't do this on the last tutorial, but because I'm using pinks, I'm just going to take a little bit of that pink. Why not? Just put a few splodges in there as well. Cleaning my brush. Let's make a shadow colour. Let's take that ultramarine blue. A little bit of that pink. Nice shadow colour. Not too dark. And let's put some shadows in. So let's put a nice shadow around the eye. Just like that perhaps. So I can put it in as a linear mark, but then I can just soften it away. And those yellows that we put down earlier are blending into that wash as well, which is quite nice. So it's just a nice, subtle little wash there of that shadow colour. Let's put some more shadows in. Let's put a shadow that's going to sweep across the body like that. I can clean my brush and just soften that down with a bit of water. And I'm not too bothered that I'm going off the page. Doesn't concern me. Don't let it concern you. Let's put a bit more shadow and let's put a bit more here as well. There we go. So I think that's all the shadow and colour we need. We can always come back and add more if we want to. But you can see how subtle that is. It's very, very soft and it will dry a lot lighter. So you may want to go back in and strengthen them later on. But I think we'll be all right with that value. Let's put in the beak. So let's take some of the pink. And as I've said in my other tutorial, you can change these colours, by the way. I'm using 3 primaries. A red, a yellow and a blue, and you can use any red, any yellow, any blue. It's completely up to you. Let's pop that in. I think I'd like a little light just kind of on the beak, maybe around there, look. So I won't paint that area, or I'll try not to anyway. There we go. Bit of water onto that as well, and we'll just soften it down. There we go. Do you know what? Let's put a little bit of pink into that blue wash as well, just there on the eye. And go on, just a couple of little splatters there, look. I've lost my white a little bit, but it doesn't matter. So, it's time for brush down. Go make yourself a cup of tea, cup of coffee, whatever time of day it is. You might want a glass of wine or a gin and tonic. Mooch off and come back when this is completely dry. So I've let mine dry and you can see now that we're ready for those all-important negative washes. Now, there's hardly any detail on that duck and we're going to put a few little touches later on, but let's really bring it to life. So let's think about the power of negative painting. Okay, let's take the fresh colour. It can be any colour, it doesn't matter. It's all about the duck. You can use black, greens, pinks, purples, whatever you like. I'm sticking to the 3 colours that I've got. I want to make sure that I put a dark right where I want it, look, right against the light area here. I've got to go against my pencil line there, look. Do you know what? Why not? Let's throw a bit of that in as well. I'll clean my brush and just pull and swirl those washes around. And already, doesn't that make a massive difference? I've got a bead of paint here, you know. I think I'm going to take some yellow and put that into that and let that blend as well along the shape of the beak. I'm just painting around those shapes. We're painting wet into wet because we're allowing this other colour to blend in. We're softening away. We can tap our wet brush into that wash. And already, he's looking mighty fine. Now, I don't want to do it all over, but, you know, I do want to kind of bring him to life a little bit more. I'm saying him, it could be a female, couldn't it? And I can see I've got a bit of a sharp edge here as well, so I can always come back in and just tease that paint where I want it to go. There we go. Let's put the blue underneath here as well and really throw off a lovely light. Just there, look. That's quite thick paint I'm using now. And I can bring it down, maybe bring it to that point. I can throw in another colour. Let's throw in some more of that pink. Why? Because I like it. Put a few taps up there as well. Cleaning my brush, just pushing that pigment around. You've only got a certain window in which to do that. Don't wait till it's nearly drying. And I think I'd like a little bit more colour underneath the beak. So I'm going to take my yellow and my blue and just pop in a bit of green there as well. Why I'm whispering, I do not know. Okay. Still splattering, still pushing my brush into it. I mean, I'm doing something here that we try and avoid in watercolour, really. We don't want the back runs. And especially if you're painting skies and things, then no, you don't, but they look rather beautiful in a background, just like this one. There we go. I'll tease that line down there like that. Let's come to this side now and do exactly the same. So I'm running out of Opera Pink, so I'm going to put a little blob back in there as well. And, oh, I love that little spot there, so I'm going to have a bit more of it. Let's bring some of that pink out as well. Just along that pencil line. Let's come in with a bit of blue. Bring that out as well. And, oh, why not? We'll put some yellow in there as well. So it's going to give us oranges and greens, purples. What's not to like? Yeah, just swizzle that around with the end of my brush. There we go. Just a little bit at the top of the head now. Oh, what colour have I not? I've not used a lot of green, so let's come in with the yellow and the blue, and let's pop in some nice dark green right where I want it. And don't forget, you can do this. You can always turn your picture upside down. Let's let that go into that one. Lots of water, just pulling and softening, allowing it to blend into the other washes as well. A bit of tapping with my brush, and I think it is no time to let this one completely dry. And as you can see, it really is coming to life. So just a few more details and we'll be at the final stages. So now it's completely dry, we can put in a few little details. So let's go for the eye. So let's make a dark colour. So I've only got the 3 colours, so I'm going to have to make it with the 3 that I've got. So a bit of pink, a bit of blue, I could even put a bit of green in there. That's going to make me a little bit of mud. That's perfect. And I'm going to pop in the eye, and I'm going to leave a tiny little highlight in that eye. I'm not going for like a mega detailed eye here. Just, there you go, just in nice and dark. Oh, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, perfect. So that's the eye done. And I'm going to darken the beak as well. So I'm going to make a darker orange colour. So I'm going to take the yellow, a bit of that pink, make it a little bit darker. Do you know what? I'm going to drop in a little bit of ultramarine blue into that. Let's do that again. My brush is mucky. Let's do it in this section here. So a bit of the pink. Someone's mowing the lawn. Can you hear them? We've had dreadful weather here in the UK, so everyone's out now doing their lawns. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm making a purple, aren't I? That's the wrong colour. See, I'm being distracted by the lawnmower. We're making a nice dark pink. There we go. Perfect. I got a bit sidetracked there making a shadow colour, didn't I? We're making an orange now, a darker orange. So I'm going to pop this darker orange down like that into that beak. It is a bit distracting, that noise, isn't it? I may have to turn my camera off and wait for them to finish. Let's see how we go. So beak in. I'm going to take that orange colour again, and I'm going to just put a few more little taps into my lovely duck. And you know what? Just a couple more shadows around the eyes, just a little bit underneath here. And a little bit of shadow colour just into that little section there, look. And I'm going to say that my little duck is done. And that's probably just in time for the people trimming the lawns next door. Okay, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.